You know what absolutely disgusts me? The fact that in 2025, we're still attacking people for their medical conditions. And before you click away, before you scroll past this video, I need you to hear this because what's happening to Selena Gomez right now is something that could happen to anyone you love, anyone in your family, maybe even you. And the silence around it? That's exactly what allows this cruelty to continue. Selena Gomez is being torn apart online, mocked relentlessly, turned into a punchline, and it's all because of something she cannot control.
Her voice has changed.
And people are making cruel jokes, creating memes, and spreading hate like wildfire across every social media platform. But here's what makes my blood boil. Here's what should make your blood boil too. The reason her voice changed isn't because she's trying to sound different or because she's putting on some act. It's because of lupus, a serious, chronic autoimmune disease that she's been battling for years. A disease that almost killed her. A disease that forced her to get a kidney transplant from her best friend. And yet, instead of compassion, instead of understanding, people are weaponizing her illness against her. Let me ask you something, and I want you to really think about this. When did we become so cruel? When did we decide that someone's medical condition was fair game for entertainment? When did we lose our basic human decency? Because what's happening to Selena isn't just about her anymore. It's about all of us. It's about the kind of society we're creating, the kind of culture we're normalizing, and the message we're sending to millions of people who are suffering in silence with their own health battles. Now, I'm going to break this down for you because clearly, some people need a reality check. Lupus is not some minor inconvenience. It's not a cold. It's not something you just get over. Lupus is a chronic autoimmune disease where your own immune system attacks your body. Imagine your body's defense system, the thing that's supposed to protect you, suddenly turning against you and attacking your organs, your joints, your skin, your kidneys, your heart. That's lupus. And one of the lesser-known effects of lupus is that it can absolutely affect your voice. The medications used to treat lupus, particularly corticosteroids like prednisone, can cause fluid retention, weight gain, and changes to the vocal cords. The disease itself can cause inflammation throughout the body, including in the throat and vocal cords. Lupus can affect the nervous system, which controls muscle function, including the muscles you use to speak. It can cause something called dysphonia, which is a disorder affecting the voice. And let's not forget the psychological toll. The stress, the anxiety, the depression that comes with managing a chronic illness that could flare up at any moment. All of these factors can change how someone sounds. But you know what? Even if I didn't explain any of that medical information, even if I didn't give you the science behind it, it shouldn't matter. Because the basic principle here is simple. You don't mock someone for their medical condition.
Period.
End of story. This isn't complicated. This is kindergarten-level empathy that apparently grown adults need to be reminded of. Selena has been open about her lupus journey. She's shared her struggles, her kidney transplant, her mental health battles, everything. She's used her platform to raise awareness about this disease that affects millions of people worldwide, particularly women and people of color. She's been vulnerable and honest in a world that punishes vulnerability. And this is how people repay her? With cruelty? With mockery? With complete disregard for her humanity? What's even more infuriating is the double standard at play here. We live in a society that loves to preach about mental health awareness, about being kind, about ending stigma. Everyone wants to post the suicide prevention hotline number once a year and call themselves an advocate. Everyone wants to share inspirational quotes about compassion and understanding. But when it comes to actually practicing what they preach, when it comes to showing real empathy to someone going through real struggles, suddenly all that performative activism disappears. Think about it. Selena Gomez has given us incredible music, memorable performances, and used her massive platform to advocate for important causes. She's been transparent about her mental health struggles, helping countless fans feel less alone. She's raised millions for lupus research. She's produced meaningful content that addresses real issues. And despite all of this, despite everything she's contributed, people feel entitled to tear her down over something as trivial as how her voice sounds. The audacity is staggering. And let's talk about the people making these comments. creating these memes, spreading this hate?
Who are you?
What gives you the right to judge someone's medical condition from behind a screen? Have you walked in her shoes? Have you dealt with a chronic illness that affects every aspect of your life? Have you had to cancel plans, miss opportunities, let people down because your body is literally attacking itself and you have no control over it? Have you had to take medications that alter your appearance and how you sound, knowing that people will judge you for it, but having no choice because the alternative is potentially dying? The anonymity of the internet has created this toxic culture where people feel emboldened to say things they would never say to someone's face. They forget there's a real human being on the other end of their cruel comments. They forget that words have power, that collective hate can be devastating, that their joke might be one more thing pushing someone who's already struggling to a breaking point. What really gets me is how this reflects our society's relationship with chronic illness and disability. We claim to be inclusive and understanding, but the moment someone doesn't look or sound the way we expect them to, we attack. We demand that people with invisible illnesses prove their suffering to us, as if our validation matters more than their lived experience. We create impossible standards where people are supposed to be sick enough to deserve compassion, but not so sick that it makes us uncomfortable or inconveniences us in any way. Selena's voice change is a direct result of her body fighting a battle most people can't even imagine. Every time she speaks, she's doing so despite inflammation, despite medication side effects, despite the exhaustion that comes with lupus. The fact that she continues to show up, to create, to use her voice both literally and figuratively is nothing short of remarkable. And instead of celebrating her resilience, instead of respecting her courage, people are making her the butt of their jokes. Here's another thing that needs to be said. Lupus disproportionately affects women, and it disproportionately affects women of color. Selena, as a Latina woman with lupus, represents millions of people who face this disease, often without the resources, platform, or support system she has. When people mock her, they're not just mocking a celebrity. They're mocking every person fighting this disease. They're sending a message to everyone with lupus that their struggles don't matter, that their pain is entertainment, that they should hide their symptoms to avoid ridicule. The ripple effect of this cruelty is massive. There are young girls watching this happen, girls who also have lupus or other chronic illnesses, and they're learning that being honest about their health will make them targets. They're learning to suffer in silence. They're learning that the world won't show them compassion, so they better not ask for it. Is that really the lesson we want to teach? Is that the world we want to create? And to the people who say, it's just jokes, that it's not that serious, that people need to lighten up, I have a question for you. Where's the joke?
Explain it to me.
Break it down. Tell me what's funny about someone's autoimmune disease affecting their voice. Tell me what's humorous about mocking someone for something they cannot control. I'm genuinely asking because I don't see it. All I see is cruelty disguised as humor, and cruelty is never funny. We need to do better. We need to be better. This isn't about being overly sensitive or politically correct. This is about basic human decency. This is about recognizing that the person you're mocking online is a real human being with feelings, with struggles, with people who love them. This is about understanding that your words have consequences, that your contribution to a pile-on of hate could be the thing that breaks someone. Selena Gomez doesn't owe anyone an explanation for how her voice sounds. She doesn't owe anyone details about her medical condition beyond what she's already graciously shared. She doesn't need to justify her existence or prove that she's suffering enough to deserve kindness. None of us do. We deserve compassion simply because we're human beings. That should be enough. I want everyone watching this to understand something crucial. Today it's Selena's voice. Tomorrow it could be someone else's weight gain for medication. Next week it could be someone's hair loss from treatment. Next month it could be someone's mobility device. The target changes, but the cruelty remains the same. And unless we actively push back against it, unless we call it out every single time we see it, unless we refuse to participate in it or tolerate it, nothing will change. So here's what I'm asking you to do. If you see someone mocking Selena or anyone else for their health condition, don't scroll past.
Say something.
Even if it's just one comment pushing back against the hate, it matters. Educate people about lupus, about chronic illness, about why this cruelty is unacceptable. Share information. Be the voice of reason in a sea of ignorance. And most importantly, check yourself. Before you comment on anyone's appearance or voice or anything else, ask yourself if you know the full story. Ask yourself if your words are kind. Ask yourself if you'd want someone saying the same thing to someone you love. We have to create a culture where compassion is the default, where people feel safe being open about their health struggles, where vulnerability is met with support instead of attacks. That culture starts with each of us making the choice to be better, to do better, to demand better from ourselves and others. Selena Gomez is strong. She's proven that time and time again. But she shouldn't have to be strong enough to withstand this kind of cruelty. None of us should. We all deserve to exist in our bodies, with whatever challenges they present, without fear of being mocked or ridiculed. We all deserve basic human dignity and respect. The fact that this even needs to be said in 2025 is disappointing. The fact that we're still having conversations about not mocking people for their medical conditions is exhausting. But here we are. And we'll keep having these conversations, keep calling out this behavior, keep fighting for a more compassionate world until it finally sinks in. So, let me be crystal clear. If you've participated in mocking Selena's voice, you need to stop. Delete your comments, apologize if you have any conscience, and do better going forward. If you've seen this happening and stayed silent, I understand it can be uncomfortable to speak up, but your silence enables this behavior. And if you genuinely didn't understand why this was wrong until now, consider this your wake-up call. Learn from this. Grow from this. Be part of the solution instead of part of the problem. This video isn't just about defending Selena Gomez, though she absolutely deserves to be defended. This video is about all of us taking a hard look at the culture we've created and deciding if this is really who we want to be. I don't know about you, but I want to be part of a community that lifts people up, that shows compassion, that recognizes that everyone is fighting battles we know nothing about. I want to be part of a world where people can be honest about their health without fear. I want to be part of a society that values kindness over cruelty, empathy over entertainment at someone else's expense. We can be that. We can do that. But it requires effort. It requires consciousness. It requires giving a damn about other people's well-being. And I know that's a lot to ask in today's world, but I'm asking anyway. Because people like Selena, people with chronic illnesses, people who are suffering, they deserve better from us. They deserve our support, our understanding, our compassion. They deserve to exist without becoming content for someone's cruel joke. So, here's my challenge to everyone watching this. Be better. Do better. Stand up against cruelty. Educate yourself and others. Show compassion. And remember that behind every screen name, every profile picture, every person you see online, there's a real human being with real feelings and real struggles. Treat them accordingly. It's not complicated. It's just being a decent human being. And if we can't manage that, then we have much bigger problems than we realize.